Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Corin, also known as the Kitten Choreographer, and I'm a teen with a passion for makeup and kitten rescue. Yeah, my hair is purple. It's cool. I like it. I got it done. Some stuff has happened in my personal life lately that basically has made me sad and not very confident. Hi Valkyrie. So, oh, you're just gonna jump out of my hands, okay. And so today I just thought I would come on camera and just do my makeup with some of my favorite products. Products that make me feel confident, products that, you know, make me feel beautiful. So I'm gonna try and make my mood a little bit better by coming on camera and just playing with some of my favorite stuff. So yeah, if that sounds interesting to you, keep on watching. Okay, I have zoomed in so that you can see my eyes so that we can start on that because, you know, that's what I do. So I'm going to start with the Milani eyeshadow primer. I don't use this often on my channel because I use the Urban Decay one for reviews, but the Milani one is pretty much exactly the same as the Urban Decay. I don't see any difference between them, so I definitely recommend the Milani one more just because it's so much cheaper. Hi Smee, you want to come on camera? This is Smee. He's my kitty, my foster fail, my baby. How are you doing, buddy? You're so silly. There is his missing tooth. He bonked his head and knocked his tooth out. Okay, Smee, go play some more, please. So, along with the theme of feeling confident, I thought I would use some of my favorite colors today. My favorite color is Periwinkle, and you know, Blurple is my favorite, like, you know, blue and purple, is my favorite color to do on the eyes. So for the lid, I thought we would use this Glam Shop shade. Zorza is the Polish thing, and Aurora is the English version of that. For the mattes, we are using a hodgepodge of things, meaning whatever mattes I want. I have 3 palettes here to use for mattes. So this isn't necessarily something you can follow along at home, just maybe with whatever colors you want. I'm sorry about that, but I really just wanted to do makeup for me today. So for one of my favorite periwinkles, we're going to my favorite palette actually, which is the Glamlight Ice Cream Dream, and we are gonna go, or I am gonna go, into this shade down here, Cookie Monster, which is this really, you know, nice, it's more of a blue than a periwinkle, but I think it'll work well for what I want to do today. I'm gonna start with just a fluffy crease brush and start just throwing the shade into my crease. I am using a fluffier brush and I'm kind of blending it in so it won't be as pigmented as if I just went in with, you know, a packing brush and really packed it on there, but these shadows are so pigmented you can see that it just looks really good even without, you know, like a really dense packing brush. I'm just blending this through my crease and it definitely looks a lot bluer on the eyes. I feel like we're gonna add some purples in a second, so I think it'll be good. This actually is a little bit bluer than I expected it to be, so I'm gonna go into the shade Honey Lavender here, which is this purple, and with the same brush, and just kind of throw that a little bit on top to kind of get a special mixture of a shade. And I may be working in a palette of pastels at the moment, but what really makes me feel confident is dark tones on my eyes, so we will definitely be deepening this up in a minute with some other shades. There we go, that's more of a periwinkly blurple color. I love this palette so much, and if you look at this corner, I don't know if you can see that like big dip in that shadow, and there's a big dip in this shadow right here because I love that for inner corner. So I'm really excited to see some progress on my favorite palette. Hopefully I can hit pan in some of those shades eventually. So next up, we are going to be going into my custom Lethal palette, which I used in a video recently, so I will link that in the description if you want to see more action. But these are these shadows, and I'm just going to be using a few of the mattes today. I'm not going to pull them out to show you which mattes I use just because that kind of stresses me out today and I worry about breaking the palette. And so since I'm trying to be as least stressed as possible right now and as confident as I can be, we're just going to point. It's a dark blue matte. Actually, we're going to the purple. First, we're going into this purpley shade, which is kind of leaning, it's like a dark grapey shade, so it's kind of a little bit blue, but that's the shade I'm gonna go into. And I'm just gonna put this through my crease. And this is a pretty dark shade, so this is definitely gonna darken up the look. But that is what I'm going for. I'm even gonna add black in a minute to get the look really, really deep. So I'm just blending this kind of low through my crease, and I'll grab my other brush again in a minute to kind of blend it more, but I'm just gonna get the color down there first. And I'm also just gonna pack a little bit because the shadow's not showing up quite as deep as I'm wanting it. Because I'm using a bit of a fluffy brush, I'm just packing slightly. But if it's not as deep as I wanted, it's okay because I plan to use a black in a minute. So I'm just taking the first brush with no additional product and just blending. And honestly, I'm using my favorite products Also because I know they work well, but also just because I feel so good in them. That, you know, they're my favorite products for a reason. So sorry if I talk about them too much, but you know, I don't have a humongous makeup collection. It's big, but it's not as big as some of like huge YouTubers. But you know, I want to talk about the products that I love because I love them and I want to use them. So sorry if I seem repetitive or anything. I just want to use the products that I want to use. So that's how that's gonna go. I'm going into the Beauty Bay Bright Matte palette now, and I'm only, you know, this is a very colorful palette, but I'm only going into it for the black, and that shade is called Illicit. But, you know, it's just a black. This palette, you know, it's good, but it's not my favorite formula ever. I wanted a rainbow palette, and this one was inexpensive, so it was good option for me, and I do like it. It's not my favorite formula ever, but I actually don't have a black in any of my favorite formulas, so this one is good, and it's from a brand that I do buy from. Still, a lot of the blacks I have are from brands that I don't actually buy from anymore. That I don't know, that's just how it worked out. But yeah, I'm just putting this through on my outer corner and a little bit into my crease here. And now I'm taking the second brush we used, and I'm actually gonna go back into my Lethal palette for this and go back into some of that purpley shade, and that's what I'm gonna blend this with. I just like blending the darkest shadow with my middle shade if I'm using like this traditional like 3 shadow format. I don't know why, it's just how I think the look comes together the most. It's just what I prefer to do. And then after I've got that shadow down, I always do go back into the lightest shadow brush and just soften the edges a little bit. But you know, this is what I meant when I said I wanted a really dark look, and it's looking pretty much exactly the way I wanted it to. I'm gonna use NYX glitter primer because I always feel great and that my shimmers look amazing when I use this. I'm just explaining why I love everything as I go along, just because that's fun. You know, it makes me appreciate the products that I have and that I love a little bit more. So I am just going to apply NYX glitter glue or NYX glitter primer on my eye in a half cut crease style format. It's just my favorite format to do. You know, I'm taking it with the things I know. It's not the best, in my opinion, to do something adventurous when you're not feeling super confident, because if it doesn't turn out well, it'll make you less confident. So I'm just using like formats and shadows and colors and techniques that I know, just because I feel like that's what's gonna make the look the best. Now I'm going into my singles palette and grabbing that shade Zorza that I told you I was gonna use. I don't think I used this one in my 4 looks on Glam Shop. I feel like I really wanted to, but I ended up picking a different shadow to use for my 4 looks. This shadow is just the most gorgeous, like blue purple, and even right now it's showing some green for some reason, but it's just a stunning sparkly shadow, which it is really showing green right now, and I've never noticed a green shift in it before, so that is kind of odd. I might grab just like a purpley shade to put next to it just to highlight more of that purple in just a second, because I did want this to be kind of more blue and purple, and apparently it's being green now because the shadow has a mind of its own, and the pan looks purple, and on the eyes it's looking green. It's kind of weird. I can fix it in a second though. I'm not worried. It's just like, it's really pretty still. It's just not exactly what I had in mind. So I'm flipping the brush over, and to remedy this, I'm gonna go into Clionadh Cosmetics Abrasion, which is definitely a blue purple, and I'm kind of putting that next to / over it. So I'm gonna start putting it next to it, and yes, that is exactly what I wanted. I don't know why I just didn't start with that. I just wanted to use Zorza again. And I'm just gonna put it over it too, just kind of transform the shadow, do a little Frankenstein shadow, and there I go. That is what I wanted. Gonna do that on the other eye too, and I basically just like put Abrasion on top of Zorza. And that is not what I intended to do with this look, but you know, things happen, and I definitely don't want to leave my makeup just not looking good today or not looking exactly how I wanted, because, you know, I'm trying to be confident. I know I'm saying that a million times. I'm just trying to look good and feel good. And now I'm just going to go back into the black brush and just kind of merge the outer corner in the like lid shade, and then I'm gonna go into my middle brush and just blend that over top. And that is pretty much it for the eye look. I've decided I do want eyeliner, so I'm gonna go grab that and I'll be right back. So I know this isn't the case for a lot of people, but I personally feel the most confident when I have a winged liner on. It's just something I really like. So I'm gonna clean up the edges and the fallout, and then I'll add the winged liner in just a second. Okay, so now I'm just gonna add the winged liner. I'm using the NYX Epic Ink liner, just the black liquid liner, and I will be right back. So this is the liner, and now I'm gonna zoom out and we're gonna move on to the face. Oh, and I forgot to say I have earrings in, which earrings always make me confident. I love the way I feel and look in earrings, and these earrings are, I don't remember the exact username, something like Designs by Lesbians or something. I will link their Instagram in the description below though, because I love these earrings. So I brought over just a makeup bag full of some of my favorite products. I know all of these products and I know they work well together, so yes, I'm just gonna use them. This is the NYX Marshmallow Primer. I love this primer. It smells amazing. It feels amazing. I just love it. It hydrates the skin well. It preps the skin well. Next, we're gonna use a foundation that just makes me in general feel very good. This is the Urban Decay Stay Naked foundation. I'm gonna shake it up. I just did a couple pumps on the back of my hand, grab my sponge, get it ready, and then I'm just gonna dot this on my face. This is a really good foundation. It's, I don't know, it's not dewy, but it's not overly matte because I do have pretty dry skin, but it still looks really good on me. The person that convinced me to get this foundation is Kelly Gooch, and she's amazing. I love watching her. And she loved this foundation, but then she tried the Oma Beauty foundation after I bought this, and she loves it even more. So I'm thinking about trying that eventually because she said it was like this one, but even better. And I love this one, so I can't imagine how good that one would be. But yes, I'm just blending this out. Looks very good. I always blend my foundation out with a sponge. I just find that it looks the best, unless it's a stick foundation. My one stick foundation I do blend out with a brush a lot of the time. One thing I do like about this foundation is it's pretty medium coverage, but you can still see my freckles through it. In the winter, you can't really see my freckles through it because they're a lot fainter in the winter, but as summer comes around and I'm spending more time outside, you can see my freckles through a lot more things because they're just a lot more prominent, but I am loving my freckles. This is a concealer combination. I'm being extra and using two. Ever since I finished my Too Faced Born This Way, which I'm not going to rebuy because I don't support Too Faced, my Milani Conceal and Perfect is very similar and it's become my new favorite. And then I've been trying to use up this ColourPop No Filter Concealer because I've had it for a while and it needs to be used up. I've been mixing the two because this is slightly too light and I just, you know, want to get more use out of this. So I've been mixing the two and then putting a powder that's slightly too dark over it because this is slightly too light. Too light powder, or too light concealer, too dark powder, and it makes a really good combination, which is really weird because I tried this powder. The powder that I'm going to use is the, you have to be using the litter box right now, thanks. The powder I use is the Flower Beauty Light Illusion powder, which is a really good powder. It just is too dark for me. But putting a too light concealer underneath and then putting this too dark powder over it makes a good combination. It's weird. I wouldn't think I would like it since it's using products that don't exactly work for me on their own, but together they look really good. You can see this concealer is slightly too dark for me and also kind of on the, like, just my skin tone shade. So I use it to cover blemishes and put it on the, like, outside of my under eyes. And then I use this, which is, this is the lightest shade and it is slightly too light for me, and I put it right here. And this concealer formula isn't my favorite, but you know, everything mixed together is really good. Like, I won't rebuy this once I use it up. I have gone through like a full one of this before. Like, I used to really love it and then it kind of just fell to the back as I tried better formulas. But it's weird, like sometimes products like individually aren't necessarily the best things you've tried ever, but combined they're just amazing, which is kind of the case for this. And I normally add like a little bit more right here just because it's not the most full coverage ever. I'm interested in trying the ColourPop Pretty Fresh because I've heard that one's even better. So now I'm using the Flower Beauty Light Illusion powder. I'm using the little like puff thing that comes with it, and I'm just gonna set. You can see it's like too dark for me a little bit. It's just like, it's too dark. Oh my, I just hit pan on that. I didn't even notice. I haven't even had this that long. Like, looking at the pan, there's like no product in this. There's not very much product in this. So I don't know, it's something that I really like the formula, but there's not enough shades. There's not a shade that really works well for me. And with me just hitting pan on it after not having used it that long, it's not going to be a repurchase for me. I just picked it up because I like to try different powders, mostly from the drugstore, because I go through powder not super quickly, but it's not something that excites me. So for things that don't excite me, like brow products, mascara, powder, I just buy ones from the drugstore that I've heard are good. Sometimes I try different ones to, you know, spice things up. I don't with brow products. Sometimes I do with mascaras, although I basically just switch between CoverGirl, Lash Exhibitionist, and Essence Lash Princess. There's ones I just alternate. I always feel very confident when I contour, and a contour product I've been using for just ages and that has not let me down yet is the KVD Vegan Beauty Shade and Light Palette. I've had this forever, back before their rebrand, and I probably will need to repurchase this shade soon, eventually, just because I have used so much of this. I know a lot of people just don't contour anymore, but I still really like it. Like, I just find it's a good addition to my makeup routine. It doesn't take too long, but it still like shapes my face really well. I don't know why I do much to my forehead because my bangs kind of hide it, but I don't know, it's what I've been doing. But I still put stuff on my forehead even though there's really no point because no one can see it. contour under there, and I also contour my chin a little bit. And then that's it. It looks like a lot, but it gets better once I blend it out a bit with my sponge. Still look very flat now because I haven't added like blush and stuff. But next I'm gonna go into bronzer, and this bronzer I haven't had for too long, but it's quickly become my favorite and I use it so often. This is the Nabla Skin Bronzing in Ambra. This stuff is amazing. The Nabla Skin Bronzing and Glazing. I've tried a blush and a bronzer, and both of them are incredible, but I definitely use the bronzer more often. Okay, I haven't even had that long, and the imprint is pretty much worn off, which is a sign to like how much I love this. I have a feeling I'm gonna run out of it eventually just because I use it so often. It just adds, it's the perfect color for me. It's so perfect. I just love it so much. And it does look like I put a lot on, but you know, it fades and blends out, and you know, I'm not trying any new techniques. Like, I know I love all these products, so I know it's gonna turn out good. Just putting a bit on my nose and then a bit on my chin. And again, just blending everything out. Here's the thing about blush. I have a lot of blushes that I really love, and there are a lot of blushes that make me feel really good. This is one that isn't from a brand that I buy from anymore just because they are very not inclusive and have showed that they don't really care about being more inclusive, and that's Hourglass. This is I think this is my only Hourglass product currently. I've gone through one of their stick foundations before. This is my only one currently, and this is in the shade Luminous Flush. I got this on a whim, and I love it. It's so good. It's just such a good blush, but you know, I wouldn't repurchase it if I went through it because, you know, it is from a brand that's not inclusive, but this product is really good. It just gives the skin the perfect, you know, flush, like is in the name. It's literally a luminous flush. Like, that's exactly what the shade is. It's not as pigmented as some of my other blushes, but it's still pretty pigmented because I pack it on a lot. So it still definitely works. Putting on a lot of blush because that's what makes me feel confident. And I wouldn't say this blush is actually my favorite in my collection, but it's the blush that makes me feel the most confident, if that makes any sense. Now, after blush, I go back in and do my lower lash line. So we're gonna go back into the Glam Light palette and just do that Frankenstein shade again, a mix of Honey Lavender and Cookie Monster, and put that on my lower lash line. Now I'm gonna go into my Lethal palette and use that grapey shade also underneath my lower lash line because, well, obviously that's what we're doing right now. And lastly, into the Beauty Bay palette to just grab the black and toss that under as well. And that had some fallout. I'll dust that away in a minute. A lot of fallout, actually. That's weird. I haven't had that with that shade before. Let me grab a clean brush. This is just a teeny tiny one. Okay, that did dust away pretty easily, which is good. So now I'm just gonna go do mascara and brows. These are stuff that I just don't care about, but I like to have them done. So yeah, gonna go do that and I'll be right back. So I was gonna use the Milk Makeup Flex highlight in Iced because this is a highlight I actually really enjoy and makes me feel really pretty, but I just thought of a time when I felt almost the prettiest I've ever felt, and I actually used an eyeshadow as highlight, and that is the shade Glow from Clionadh. So I was just about to use this in my inner corners, and then I remembered, wait, I loved this the one time I used it as a highlight. But I'm just gonna pop this in my inner corner. It's a really nice bluey iridescent shade, really stunning. And I just love the way it looks. And it meshes really well with the other Clionadh shade that we have on the lid. So now I'm gonna go in and just pop this on my cheeks, which it is definitely a very like sparkly highlight. So if that's not what you're into, don't do this. But see, it is just a stunning, blinding, glittery goodness. Another highlight I just remembered that makes me feel really good is the Fenty Beauty How Many Carats Diamond Balm. That's also amazing. You know, just put it all over. I forgot a setting spray, but I'm too lazy to go get one. I like the Milk Makeup Hydro Grip setting spray and also the Urban Decay All Nighter. Both of those are very good, but I'm just too lazy to get them. So I'm just gonna still just blend my makeup together. I'm gonna use one of my favorite lip combos of all time. And you probably are just expecting a nude, like a normal pinky nude, because that's what a lot of people use for their really confident lip looks. But actually my favorite lip ever is a brown, and this is Nude Cocoa from Dominique Cosmetics. It is technically a nude for people of darker skin tones, but for me it's a, I just poked myself in the eye. For me it's a brown. I love this. It just makes me feel so amazing, and it makes me feel confident and, you know, cool because I'm using a like different than normal lip, but it's also not too out there for me. So I'm gonna use corresponding Dominique Cosmetics lip liner. This is Nudie, and I'm just gonna line my lips with this. Sometimes I just blot on the lipstick Nude Cocoa for like just a cool, you know, blotted look. I don't know what else, like kind of a masculine lip, but today I'm just gonna put it on fully. And I'm also just gonna fill in the edges of the lips. Now I'm gonna go into the lipstick, Nude Cocoa. And don't get me wrong, I do love a nice nude lip, like nude pinky rosy lip. But this is what makes me feel the most confident. And now I'm gonna top it with my probably favorite lip gloss formula, the formula that just makes me feel confident no matter what shade, but I'm using the shade Cake Shake today, and this is the Fenty Beauty Gloss Bomb. And you know, I feel confident with a glossy lip. That's just when I feel like myself. And this look did exactly what it intended. I intended to feel nice at the end of it, and I feel pretty nice right now. So there's that. Still kind of sad, but I do feel like I look good, so that's good at least, and I'm loving my purple hair. This look definitely goes with it. Even though it ended up being a bit more blue, I still love blue, so it's okay. So yeah, that is going to be it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, make sure to like it and subscribe for more makeup and kitten related content. I upload on Sundays and Wednesdays if I can, and if I can't, then I upload whenever I want to. Also, make sure to leave any thoughts or questions down in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching again, and goodbye!